Fingers have been a theme throughout Elden Ring since the very beginning, and if you can believe it, they're becoming even more important in the Shadow of the Erdtree DLC. My name is Kodiak, this is Legacy Gaming, and today we're revealing the secrets of the fingers and walking you through an insane questline that rewards some legendary loot. So to level set, this quest is one that starts around the early portions of the mid-game, and depending on how hard and fast you want to complete it, it could take you quite a while to finish. If you focus on the objective, you can get it done in just a few hours, but if you're doing it in parallel with your exploration and progression, then it might take longer. To be clear, there's no wrong answer here, it's just a matter of your preference. So let's begin. Our destination is the Cathedral of Manus Metyr, which is centrally located but on the eastern side of the Shadow Realm. This entire map is incredibly deceptive with elevation not clearly accounted for, so while it looks easy to reach, it is anything but. Step 1 is to complete Castle Ensis. This is a choke point between Gravesite Plain and Scour. There's a fantastic boss fight to cap off the dungeon, and you'll see me rocking one of the remembrance items from that fight throughout my footage, which I highly recommend you check out. Step 2 is to locate the Morth Ruins, which you can find directly east of the High Road Cross Site of Grace. There you'll need to descend into the depths of the Shadow Realm using the hidden pathway, and eventually you'll come out the other side in Bonnie Village. Clear what you want and move east across the various suspension bridges, and eventually you'll reach a Site of Grace, and at this point, you're closer to your destination. From here, follow the road north. You'll run through some woods, past an armored furnace golem, and then curve off to the left until you reach the cathedral. I do want to say, if you're interested in killing that furnace golem, check out our Secrets of the Furnace Golems video already up on the channel. Once you arrive at the cathedral, you'll want to make your way to the back where you'll find Count Ymir. He's an eclectic fellow, and I don't know about any of you, but he gave off some serious stranger danger vibes. That being said, he has got a quest to complete, and who am I to turn down an opportunity for new gear? He'll reward you with a strange item, essentially a finger with some holes in it, as well as a map. And our goal from here on out is to locate 2 finger ruins found throughout the world and locate a large finger whistle that looks just like the item he gave you. Count Ymir also sells a number of spells, so if you're a magic user and you're actively collecting or testing out all of the DLC spells, don't forget to stock up. Once you've exhausted his dialogue options and spent all your runes on his spells, it's time to go finger hunting. Not actually, but we do need to locate the first finger ruins. This one is actually not too hard to find if you've unlocked the Cerulean Coast. If you haven't done that yet, you'll want to take this path from Gravesite Plain down, following the river until eventually you reach the lowest level of the Shadow Realm. From the first Site of Grace, ride directly south past the Ghost Flame Dragon. You'll eventually reach another Site of Grace. From here, you'll head northwest looking for those large stone structures sticking out of the ground. You'll want to jump the gap here and continue moving north, dropping down the cliff until you land on another structure. From here, you can head down to the water. Hang a left and head across the sandbars until you reach the other side. Once you turn the corner, you'll see another large stone structure. Head uphill and jump off the back right side, and you'll have found the finger ruins of Rhea. Once you reach the ruins, your objective is to find the central structure. All of the fingers point in that general direction, but you can also see it clearly on the map. Move towards it and avoid as many enemies as you can. Trust me when I say you do not want to fight anything in here, because either you'll get overwhelmed or frustrated. There's also not a lot of valuable loot here, so just stay focused on the main objective. Once you reach that central structure, interact with the large finger whistle at the center. Once you've blown your first finger, a line I never thought I'd have to say in my life, you'll receive your first reward, the Crimson Seed Talisman +1, which greatly increases how much HP your Flask of Crimson Tears restores. At this point, head back to the cathedral. Ymir will be on the throne holding his baby, getting all creepy-like, but he will reward you with your second map in a talisman, the Beloved Stardust. I can see this being a staple in some upcoming builds because it's incredibly powerful, shortening the casting speeds for sorceries and incantations, but increasing the damage you take. You can also purchase 2 additional sorceries at this point, so don't forget to check his wares. To reach the second ruins, you'll need to progress through almost all of Shadow Keep. That's why I said this quest is one you'll most likely want to do in parallel with your progression, because blazing through Shadow Keep really isn't ideal. That being said, if you want the highlights of where to go, here it is. You'll want to approach the keep from the east, entering the church district. You'll have to move across the rooftops at this point, and that works to our benefit here. Eventually, you'll reach a roof with a hole in it, Drop down and progress through the halls below until you can turn left and head towards this lift. The elevator brings you up to one part of the specimen storehouse. Once you're here, it gets a bit convoluted, but the idea is that you want to head up first until you reach the rafters. You'll make your way across the spans until eventually you can drop down into this middle section. The goal is to find this stone archway, which is the ticket out of this maze. Ride the lift to the way bottom and of course pick up the Site of Grace there because you'll need it later on in your progression. At this point, you'll want to head to the side room, not outside. There you'll see a statue of Marika and a Erdtree fragment. Pick up the item and then use the Oh Mother emote in front of the statue to reveal a secret passageway. If you don't have the Oh Mother emote, you can find it here in Scadualtus, right near Bonnie Village. This passageway leads you to Scataview, or the Hinterlands. Simply mount up on Torrent, run past the tree sentinels, and make your way across the bridge. Grab the last Site of Grace, and congratulations, you have made it to the Finger Runes of Deo. Once you're here, your objective is the same. Avoid as many enemies as you can, and make your way to that central structure. This might be a bit harder as the leech enemies are much more densely populated, and if you can't tell, their lasers hurt. Once you reach the Finger Whistle, interact with it and you'll receive your second talisman, the Cerulean Seed Talisman +1. This greatly boosts the FP restored when using the Flask of Cerulean Tears. At this point, you can head back to Ymir at the manor, and he'll get all deep about the cosmos. He'll give you the third map, and if you inspect it, you might get a bit confused. More on that in just a second. Don't forget to check out his wares once again and pick up the final spell he sells, Fleeting Microcosm. Once you've exhausted his dialogue, rest at the Site of Grace and head back to the throne. You'll notice Ymir is gone and the throne lies empty. Interacting with the throne will reveal a ladder heading deep under the cathedral. Follow it down and you'll be in a secret chamber. Take a few steps forward and you'll be invaded by Sword Hand of Night Anna. She's a tough melee enemy that can dual-wield claws, but be warned, she can also tap into the weapon's skill and shoot out dozens of ranged bolts. Once you defeat her, you'll receive the weapon she was using, Claws of Night. Upon inspection, you'll see that you too have access to the skill Scattershot Throw with these equipped. Small distraction aside, we've got a bigger challenge ahead. Walk up the hill until you see the third and final Finger Whistle. Blow into it and you'll be transported to a new zone somewhere else entirely. There you'll face Metyr, Mother of Fingers. She is a tough boss that uses a combination of melee and ranged attacks as well as summons to keep you constantly on the move. We ended up doing this fight in co-op just to pull her attention away from one of us, but it's perfectly doable solo if you have some time and skill. Once defeated, you'll notice you're nowhere near the cathedral anymore. Teleport back and approach the throne. This time you'll be invaded by Sword Hand of Night Jolan. There's no loot for beating this invader, but don't rest because who returns but Ymir, now as the Mother of Fingers. Luckily, he's not a real threat, and while he does have a few magical tricks up his sleeve, he pales in comparison to the real fight we just had with Metyr. Defeating him will reward you with a host of gear, including Ymir's Bell Bearing, the Maternal Staff, and the entire High Priest armor set. You might think that's everything, but we're not done quite yet. Rest at the Site of Grace, and then when you return, go back into the main room. There, to the right, against the pillar, you'll see that second invader slumped on the ground. You can interact with her and you'll be presented with two options. Giving her the Iris of Occultation will reward you with the Sword of Night, an incredible katana that will end up being one of the most sought-after weapons of the DLC. This is a katana with a unique skill, Witching Hour Slash, and a really powerful weapon, so check it out. It does require 11 strength, 20 dexterity, and 13 intelligence to use, and it scales entirely off of dexterity. There's one more thing you need to do, and that's simply head outside towards the graveyard and pick up the incantation. This is the spell that Ymir was using throughout that boss fight, so check it out and give it a whirl if you like. You've traveled across the Shadow Realm in search of truth, acquiring new talismans, remembrances, armor, weapons, and more in the process. Your journey is complete, and now you can truly call yourself the Master of Fingers. Friends, we hope you found this video enjoyable. If you did, be sure to drop us a like and consider subscribing. We'll have even more Elden Ring in your feeds over the coming weeks, so be sure to keep it right here so you never miss a thing. My name is Kodiak, and from everyone here at Legacy Gaming, thanks for watching, and play on.